Hey, what's up? I'm here with my 2008 Night of Champions review. I actually did manage to catch most of the pay-per-view, so I'll be reviewing what I saw. So first off, I actually didn't catch the first part of it, so I don't have the Miz and Morrison versus Finlay and Hornswoggle rating I gave on it because I didn't see it, but I know that Miz and Morrison did win as I predicted, which pretty much, if you saw anyone's prediction video, they pretty much predicted it too. It was a no-brainer match. I mean, there's no reason for them to put the titles on Hornswoggle and Finlay, so Miz and Morrison were 100% likely to retain, and they did. So no surprise there. The next match after that I did see, and that was Chavo versus Matt Hardy for the United States Championship. And this was a good little second match, you know. I didn't see the first match, so I'm not sure how that did as an opener. But, you know, it wasn't a bad match. You have two pretty good wrestlers. I mean, Matt Hardy is obviously a high flyer, so you have a lot of his daredevil moves, and then Chavo can hold his own as a wrestler. So, you know, I gave it a 6 out of 10 originally. It borders on a 6 or a 7, you know, it's probably more of a 6 because it's not, I mean, the U.S. Championship isn't really a, you know, very big championship, but Matt Hardy did end up winning with a twist of fate, even though Chavo had Bam Neely at his corner. Bam Neely, you know, did very little, so that wasn't really that significant, but the U.S. Championship is now ECW exclusive because, as you know, on the draft, Matt Hardy, excuse me, got drafted to ECW, so now the U.S. Championship becomes ECW exclusive, so that's another championship on ECW. Next we had the triple threat match with Mark Henry versus Kane versus The Big Show. I was wrong in my prediction, obviously. I predicted that The Big Show would win, and he didn't. Mark Henry ended up winning, which I really don't agree. Well, see, it's kind of hard because Mark Henry was drafted, I think, in the supplemental draft after what they showed on Raw. He was drafted to ECW, so, I mean, I guess it makes some sense. You know, he has to go. They want to put someone on ECW, but then why couldn't you just put The Big Show? Why in God's name did you have to put Mark Henry as the ECW championship? You know, that makes no sense. You might as well just keep Kane as a champion if you're going to do that. This kind of disappointed me. I mean, I gave the match 6 out of 10, and I was originally going to give it a 7 out of 10, but just the way they ended it with the champion, and not even that Mark Henry got the championship, but just the way they ended it, because Big Show and Kane started beating the crap out of each other at the end, and I was like, oh, you know, this is going to be good. They're going to have a good finish, and I obviously thought Big Show would win. Then they both knock each other down somehow, I forget, but then Mark Henry comes over and gets the quick cover, so he gets an opportunistic cover, kind of like, you know, Shades of Edge, what he does. So that kind of made me mad. I really wanted Big Show to win this, and he didn't. So Mark Henry is your new ECW champion, and he keeps the championship on ECW. Makes sense. Like I said, I was pretty sure WWE wasn't going to try and switch the exclusiveness of their belts, although they did for the U.S. Championship. But, you know, the ECW Championship is named ECW Championship, so makes sense, but I'm not really happy with it. But I gave that match a 6 out of 10. And in the beginning, it appeared that Kane hurt himself. I don't know if he was trying to play off he got hurt, if he actually did, but it looked like he kind of hurt his knee or his neck or something when he went off the top rope. So he was kind of slow getting back up. But that's your triple threat match for the ECW Championship, and so it stays ECW exclusive. Next match was for the World Tag Team Champions between, you know, Cody Rhodes, Hardcore Holly versus Ted DiBiase and his player to be named. This was the biggest surprise of the night. Well, maybe not the biggest surprise. Everyone knew Ted DiBiase was going to win, and he did. That's no surprise. But the surprise was who his mystery partner did turn out to be. Because it was actually someone between those three, and it ended up being Cody Rhodes. He actually did a very quick swerve, so he's a heel now with Ted DiBiase. But what happened was him and Holly came out, and so did Ted DiBiase. And Ted DiBiase gets the microphone. He says, "My partner's gonna be here in 10 minutes. Can we just reschedule this for later during the night?" Referee and the other team says no, so he says, "Okay, let's go." So it's a handicap match, and then Ted DiBiase says he wants Hardcore Holly, so Hardcore Holly comes in the ring, and just as he's about to attack Ted DiBiase, from right behind, Cody Rhodes, I think, bulldogs him or something. He does one of his finishing moves, and then Ted DiBiase introduces Cody Rhodes as his tag team partner, slaps Ted DiBiase in, and Ted DiBiase does his finishing move. Match. Championships go to Ted DiBiase and Cody Rhodes. So that was a nice little change of pace, I guess, to put Cody Rhodes as a heel. I mean, it was fine. I don't think it's right that they have Ted DiBiase become a champion, his first, his debut, but, it's not too bad. It was a nice little swerve, and it kind of changed the pace, because, everyone pretty much knew, again, Ted DiBiase was going to win, but you didn't know who his mystery partner was. A lot of people thought, oh god, I'm gonna remember it later. But there was one guy that people thought were gonna be a partner, and he wasn't. So nice little change of pace. You have two third generation superstars, and what kind of this does though, unfortunately for Hardcore Holly, it kind of puts his character basically has to become face. There's no way he could still now be a tweener, because it's not gonna work. He has to become face. So I think that's what they're going to have him do, is just turn his character kind of face, which, isn't a bad thing. So that happened with that, and of course the World Tag Team Championships remain Raw exclusive. There's no way they could really change, because everyone in there was on Raw. And I gave that 6 out of 10, which is pretty high considering they didn't actually have a match, but I put that in again because I thought the swerve was pretty good. So 6 out of 10 for that. The next match, Intercontinental Championship, was unscheduled. We didn't know if it was going to happen or not, but on their website wasn't listed. But that was next, and that was actually Chris Jericho versus Kofi Kingston. Now, I don't know who the hell Kofi Kingston was. The first time I saw him actually was just on last week's draft. So I really had no idea who he was, but he came out. And, he ended up winning the match. I actually didn't see the second part of the match, so I can't really give it a good rating. I'm not going to give it a rating because, again, I didn't see it. I know who won, though. Kofi Kingston won. And, I guess it's okay. I thought Chris Jericho was going to retain, though, with whoever he faced, unless it was Shawn Michaels. And, of course, it wasn't Shawn Michaels because, like I thought, they're trying to keep playing up that injury, his eye injury. So but Kofi Kingston won, and that's his first taste of gold in the WWE, so I don't know how long they'll hold it for. They might try to start now a feud with Chris Jericho and Kofi Kingston, but I don't really think so. I think they're going to go, I think they're going to have Chris Jericho, because he has Lance Cade at his side, so I think they're going to have Chris Jericho and Lance Cade kind of join as a tag team maybe, or something. So, from the part of the match I saw, Kofi Kingston is a really high flyer, like Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy. So it's good, since they lost both of them, they have another high flyer. So that was that match. After that was the WWE Women's Championship match with Mickie James and Katie Lee Burchill, or just Katie Lee. My prediction was wrong on this also, and I really wish it wasn't, because Katie Lee actually surprised me. This was one of the better matches of the night, which was really surprising, again, because this was a women's match, and women's matches are really usually just dumb. They're not really that good. The best thing about women's matches is just looking at them, and that's about it. But it really surprised me. Katie Lee is really a good wrestler, and I think she should have won, but they put the title, Mickie James retained the title. I really thought they were going to put it on Katie Lee, but I'm kind of, of course I like to cheer for the faces if they're a good face, and I did find myself cheering for Mickie James, but if Katie Lee had won, I really wouldn't have cared, because it was a good match, though. Mickie James had good moves of her own, and she won via DDT. But, so, yeah, overall, it was a good match. I gave it a 7 out of 10, because I really thought that it was one of the better matches of the night. And I think at their next pay-per-view, which is the Great American Bash, I really think they should put the title on Katie Lee, because she's a really good heel, and she can wrestle very well. So, really good match. Mickie James retains, and I gave it a 7 out of 10.